So it's December. Isn't that amazing? We made it. So happy holidays to everyone. Welcome to the Peninsula Wearable Arts Guild, or as we affectionately call it, PenWag. We currently have 134 members with 2 new members, Michelle Van Lennep of Watsonville and Sherry Benson of Castro Valley. Yeah. Many of us will have renewals due in December or January, and you will receive an email asking you to renew, and we hope you do. If for some reason you don't renew, drop us a line, let us know why. We'd really appreciate it. 2026, though, looks like a great year of programming, and there are postcards on the back table for anyone who needs to pick one up. At our last meeting, the board discussed putting out a special MailChimp with information about the guild's finances, and that will be coming out in middle of January. So we'll have our usual MailChimp with the newsletter, and then we'll have a second one a couple weeks later with the finance information, because we need to get the stuff that happens all the way through December into the report. So now I need our webmaster, Kevin Roche, to come up and discuss the elections from the 2026 board. And he's trying to find his way through the maze of our room.
Good morning, everyone. Andy, go ahead and throw it up. I want to thank all of you for being prompt and joining online the election. We hit 61 members, which is well over the required quorum for our election. So I'm happy to say that we elected the slate without needing a special election today. So that's it. I will hand it back to Debbie.
All right. So we actually, the slate, as you can see, still had membership open. And we're going to try to divide it up between the current board members. But if you would like to volunteer part of your time, we would not give you over the entire part of membership, but some parts of it. So we could still use some help. But I also want to give a special thank you to Ann Vogel and Jackie Snell for being on the board. Jackie for the last 2 years and Ann for a very long time. So Ann is taking a well-deserved retirement from the board, but if you are interested in volunteering with membership, she is willing to help us learn the ins and outs, and has typed up some lovely information about how it all works. Now I've got Judy Sipe to talk about our upcoming speakers. And then after that, we'll have show and tell for all of us lovely people dressed in our lovely outfits. And we have your slides will be coming up too. Okay.
Okay. January would be great.
There we are.
Linear is, I should know that by now. Linear is going to present via Zoom, and she does some really nice contemporary jewelry. And there's one picture of a necklace on the postcard itself. She does quite a bit. She's submitted quite a few pictures of things she has made. They're out of Fimo, but I would never have guessed that they were Fimo. If you follow on the postcard, there's one picture up here of the red and black necklace. There are quite a few on the web, and they're very inspiring. She entitled her program, Say Yes and See What Happens, because she transitioned from something very different and had a path that really made a lot of sense in life in general. And it's pretty interesting. I think she'll be a great speaker. February is Harriet Riddell. Harriet, I had met from doing another program with another group, and she has two main things. One of them, can you hold that for a moment, please? Can you hold that? She has traveled the world, and what she does is stitchery of people or of scenes, not with sketches. Here's one example. So part of her program will be the travels, and she'll go into a marketplace with her bicycle, a table, a sewing machine, and something to stitch on. She does not do sketches. This is stitching straight from sewing machine, starting with eyes and going outward. This one happens to be of Peter. There's one on the
But the back of it is surprisingly neat as well. I just wanted to show.
yeah. She did one of my granddaughter to begin with, and she really nailed it. And the cute thing at the end of it was she said, do something with your hands. So Dana kind of pulled up her hands and did thumbs up. And then she was squealing, saying, she even put in my friendship bracelets, which she had a bunch of. But Harriet's a very interesting person. She was scheduled for last October, and well after signing contract, became very happily pregnant. She has a baby and a 3-year-old, and still does the non-traveling stuff, but all the stitchery. So she'll talk about the travels and the interaction with people, because when she goes into a marketplace, she sets up the table and the sewing machine, has somebody actually do the bicycle. She has a battery for part of the power for the sewing machine, but somebody will come up and bicycle to provide power to do the rest of it. And there's quite a saga along with it. And she has a little book that Debbie just put up that is charming about the travels and has a whole lot of pictures in it. And for those of you interested, it'll be in the back and you can take a look at it closer. So anyhow, after the pregnancy, she was actually willing to do a program about 5 days after she was due. And we said, let's reschedule. So she will be doing this. We'll have a little bit longer program because the stitchery will be at the end, which is a lot faster than I would expect a stitchery would be, but it's really interesting to watch her. And March will be an eco dyeing by Mayumi Fujio. Mary Reynolds and I both saw her at Voices in Cloth, the East Bay Heritage Quilters show, large show. And both of us, we were not together, both of us were looking at all of her work and saying, that would be fantastic. And she does do programs. So you will walk away from the workshop with a finished scarf with eco dyeing. And again, there's quite a few samples on the web, plus the one that is on the postcard itself.
And the good news is I just found out that we'll be able to use this room in March for this. So we'll be here. If you're staying for the workshop, we'll be here all day. We'll have access to the kitchen, which has sinks and water and stuff like that. So we just got that news today. So yay. Okay. Show and tell. So we're going to show a couple of slides because we had someone that sent email with pictures, and then anyone can come up that wants to show off their lovely things for our challenge.
Well, right now we got our slides up, so you need to. We need to talk about the slide.
Okay. So Laughing Flower sent us slides to for the challenge to dress like Iris Apfel. It's like I can spell it. Every time I try to say it, I know I'm saying it wrong. So a second. Yep. So she dressed up several times and is showing off her Christmas tree. Oh, one of her Christmas trees. All right. So of course, I'll show off my lovely bangles. I may have to take them off while we're actually having the presentation because they clank. Come on up. Did you want to say anything or just do a twirl?
Hi, I'm Michelle Paganini, and I got out all my jewelry, hand-cut crystal, bracelets, and I thought, look how clever this is. I put leaves on there with my pins that I never know what to do with, my, what do you call those, rhinestone pins. And what I'm wearing is my own pattern, and I made it out of Christmas tablecloths. Okay. And I'm really excited to hear Paul. He's always one of our very favorite speakers.
Well, I did the best I could to match Iris, okay? You've seen my jacket before. It's a covered sweatshirt that I did a long time ago. But, you know, it's colorful. My dress, I made out of facet strips. And I dug out, not my real Bakelite, but all my plastic, jewelry, you know? And you had to add Christmas. I have my Dollar Tree ornaments with earring hooks on them. So, you know, my necklace is from Africa and this from who knows where. So this is my color for today.
Fabulous.
I'll let you hold my cane.
Okay. Good morning. And I also want to give a shout out to Laughing Flower. We still miss you, dear. We wish you were here. I'm not as colorful as some people, and that's why I threw on the red jacket. But underneath, I'm rather subdued. But I have to tell you about this vest that I'm wearing. Years ago, I was making an outfit of this rayon fabric, and hated the outfit. The pants were clown pants. It was just awful. But I looked at all of my scraps of, that I had cut out, and those are the embellishment on the vest, which I thought was very clever of me. Can you see? Very good. So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, this is I'm Mary Reynolds. So I do have my Diva purse and several, actually, these are polymer bracelets that I have made. I have taken some classes from Linear and so that's just it. Lots of sparkle.
Oh, and the pen. The
Yes,
pen, the pen is fabulous.
You probably know by now that I'm Kevin Roach, but just in case, I did not find pictures of advanced style for men, so I made up my own. I have this wardrobe full of flowy things, which I can't wear to work because I never know when I'm going to have to be on my hands and knees under a machine. So I took this as an opportunity to wear the stuff I never get to wear, including a giant pin from my friend Spring, who gave it to me 10 years ago, and this is the first opportunity I've had to wear it.
I'm Kay, and I started with this fabulous jacket, which a friend of mine picked up in a one of those storage locker auction things, and immediately said, "Oh, Kay will love this." And so
I did buy one thing. I bought trousers because I didn't have any black and white trousers. And then just kind of went from there.
Hi, I'm Laurel Brock. Oh, I'm Laurel Brock. Gotta bring in my little purse. I like the purse's color. It doesn't hold a dang thing. I don't know how people deal with those little tiny purses. So, almost all of this, I'm on a don't buy anything kick. So all I had to buy was lipstick. I don't wear lipstick, but most of this comes out of my stash. I had to make some necklaces because I don't know, about half of these I've made in the last week. So, and the bangles. And somewhere on me, I have an item from Old World Weavers, and see if you can guess what that is.
Oh, wow. Love the jewelry.
I'm Carolyn, and happy and embarrassed to say everything is from my closet. When I pulled out some of these things, it just reminded me of trips that we had taken years past. The jacket is a man's jacket from Egypt. The boots are from a thrift store in Amsterdam. The dress I made sometime back from African mud cloth and, I don't know, undetermined brown solid. The jewelry, I used to actually wear a lot, but as I get older, it's gotten so heavy. Like my neck is like killing me almost at this moment because it's so heavy to wear all this metal and stones. But this little polka dot necklace I just got yesterday in the mail from my friend as a birthday present. So I thought, well, that's nice and lightweight, and I'll put it on with everything else. So, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Claire DeLucchi, and I also took all of this out of my current closet. So I have jewelry that has been gifted to me over the years that I've always loved. I have a bracelet and earrings that were my aunt's, who died 8 years ago at age 85 and was still wearing all these things. And I love the fact that I got to put them all on for her. And then this is vintage consignment that I wore when I was working in an office. And I thought Iris would approve of the drama of the black and white and then just little pops of red. And this brooch here, I busted out of my $2.99 brand new but never worn pile. It's a pomegranate, and you all know how many pomegranates over the years I've brought to Penwag during pomegranate season. So I told my husband, I can't put it on. Could you put it on for me? I have to wear the pomegranate. So someone was going to lend me glasses. And so I thought, since my sunglasses have bling, and these are my normal sunglasses, that I would do those instead. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all. And next Sunday, I get my latkes. So happy Hanukkah as well.
Hi, I'm Judy Sipe. I had kind of fun with this, partially with my own, but a lot with rentals of stuff from friends. I'm wearing necklaces that I have bought on several trips, including South Africa and Italy, and different one from Italy. And what I was, and the outfits happened to be, I had the top but I hit savers up. So this had been a dress and this was another skirt, and I appliqued them to sort of go together, which was kind of fun to work it out and see what did work. I was lacking some of the jewelry, the bracelets particularly. I don't wear them, but I have a friend who wears a lot and who has them back on from Bakelite days forward. And she was kind enough to say, sure, come on over. And she pulled out a basket about this big around, dumped it on the bed. There must have been 100 bracelets in it, and said, okay, go at them. And then I'll give you the white ones to go through. And I'm like, whoa. So all but 3 of these masterpieces are hers. But it was fun to do.
All right. We got a couple more people coming up.
Okay, this is like new for me to be up here. I'm actually wearing clothes from 3 different closets. So it started out with this. I bought it 20 years ago from a youth sales place, and I thought one day I'd go to the ballet in San Francisco and be glamorous. Never happened. But today I get to wear it. Pants that I made to go to a wedding, inherited jewelry, jewelry from a friend, a hat from a friend, a beaded sweater from another friend's mother. So anyway, I'm Iris, as best I could be.
Hi, I'm Lenore. I do the newsletter for those of you who actually read it. Thank you very much. My parents used to vacation in Mexico a lot. I did not know I had this many bracelets until I started rooting through my tray where I keep them. I made this, 15 years ago for PIQF when they still had wearable art things. And I'm so happy to be here today. My summer has not been good. My winter is going to be so much better.
Leilani? Oh, shoot. How could you miss Leilani? I know, I'm waiting for the roller bottom to go by. I'm a gentleman. In case you didn't know. I just got done watching the Iris Apfel hour-and-a-half documentary, and that inspired me to bring a cane. I can actually walk pretty well without it. And if you think that your purse doesn't hold anything, try carrying around a pink poodle. I think there's lipstick in here. Outside of this, all the long jewelry belongs to Leilani. The short jewelry was mine. I've been doing one form of drag or another for 50 years, so I had all of this stuff at home, and I was going to spike my hair because I didn't think I had a wig that was going to work, but this one works well enough. These 2 bracelets and these 2 bracelets are tubes of cardboard sewed in 1-inch lengths and then wrapped with curling ribbon. And of course, these are all real diamonds.
We all say that. Oh. Wanted to make sure you guys all saw the shoes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm going to take pictures of everybody who's in a costume against that wall when this is wrapped up.
Okay. So our show and tell is almost over, but we now have the fabulous Paul Gallo is here. Yeah. We're going to be a couple of minutes before Paul starts. We need to get him wired up with the real microphone.
I only had time for coffee. Okay, you want to mic me first?
He's got a mic right there. Say something inspirational. Have you met me? Inspirational is not my usual thing. Sarcasm works more better for me. Yeah. Oh, you certainly can.
Hi, Michelle Paganini again. We have someone who hasn't been here in years. She just walked in the door, and I'm so excited to have somebody come in and join us. I think I've been a member for about 15 years, you guys. And I started out just sewing regular clothes. I was a little intimidated to think about coming to Penwag because I thought if it's a wearable art guild, I don't do wearable art yet. So I can't, I'm not worthy. I can't come in. I had a little bit of that going on. In 15 years, I have learned an unbelievable amount of techniques and things to do. And I really, really, really have enjoyed it. I'm so excited that we have online people as well as the folks here. And I just really encourage you, if you have any friends that you want to invite to do that. And also, I don't know about you, but what happens to me now is when I go out wearing something like my jacket, which I made, people say, "Oh my God, did you make that? Where did you get that?" And then first thing I ask them is, "Do you sew or do you create?" And if they say yes, I invite them to Penwag. So if that happens to you too, with your outfits when you're out, please, please extend a hand because someone stopped me at the Pacific International Quilt Festival and said, "Did you make that?" I was wearing something a little bit artistic. And that's how I found out about Penwag, is somebody stopping me and saying something. Okay, thank you.
Oh, good. Someone with, with information. Okay.
Well, oh, wow. Iris is coming at you from beyond. All right. Can we adjust that level? Are we okay? Is that all right? Wow. Okay. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy that you guys invited me to do this. And I'll share that like my sister was really funny when I was this was booked so far in advance that when I started to do the research on Iris, I had seen the documentary. I already liked her. I already knew who she was. Um, but for some reason from the documentary, I didn't get everything. And so because this was booked so far in advance, I did such a deep dive on it that now she's in my world. She's my spiritual auntie. I will follow her forever. Like she got me here this morning, like, and I just like her story is incredible. And so I came into fashion as an illustrator, and then I found out that Iris started as an illustrator and that all of those fabrics she did, all of the wallpapers, everything, she drew all of that, which I had no idea. So that made me look at her in a completely different way because, she's um similario.
Taking up a lot of breath.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I was like driving like a lunatic, so I'm sure I'm like hyperventilating or something. Do I have a clicker for my slide? Okay, and I'll be able to see it on that? Fabulous. Okay. My other favorite story is so like where it Iris ended up, I don't know if you all know, she had a whole long run on HSN and on that's the Home Shopping Network, right? And then she also had a there we go. You can do it like that. La 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 la. So here and here. Oh, decent. Okay, these. Thank you. Oh, there she is. Yeah, and another bizarre thing that Iris, like, not only like we were researching the person that was one of my friends who was like, tell me about what you're doing. Da, 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 da. And so I tell her, and I said, you know, you can still buy her jewelry online. They still sell her fabrics. They still sell her jewelry. Like, it's amazing how the things she created, she's still making money off of. And she said, oh, she has jewelry. So she's like, let's go online and go look. And I said, okay. So she finds all of this stuff, including this dress. So I was like, I don't care about the jewelry. I need that dress. Like, you need to order that right now, you know? And she's like, well, we have to see if the site is legit. You know, we have to make sure it's an actual real dress. Cause I was like, that's fantastic. Like, I just have to own that, you know? So it comes, and of course, it's sewn terribly. Right? The fabric is amazing, but the sewing was like horrendous. Like, they did it in like 3 seconds. So I had to redo the side seams to get that closed. And then the whole hem was such a mess. And so I'm like, you know, she always had feathers on her clothes. And I'm like, there's a piece of feather somewhere in the closet in a box, la la la. I found it in like 3 minutes. Go to the top shelf, take this thing down, open it up. There's the white ostrich. Now you all are sewers, right? I didn't cut any of it off. It was exactly the size of the hem. It only crosses over about 3/4 of an inch. That's it. So I was like, that was meant to be. And then this, which is what you know she has on, is the same thing. My next door neighbor, not knowing I'm doing this, says, Paul, we just cleaning out my mother's estate, and I got these beautiful furs, and she's holding them up, and I'm like, amazing. And she's like, I think this one is for you. And I'm like, you're gonna give me your mother's fur? She's like, yeah, you know, like you'll wear it somewhere, I'm sure, you know. So, like, Miss Thing was already sending me clothes, you know. Very happy about this. Yeah. So anyway, there she is in her glory. So we'll start talking about her. So yeah, I'm very inspired by her. I think what I was originally going to tell you was um when I was telling my sister about this, and I'm like, I'm so amazed by this woman. I just can't quite believe this story. And I've done a lot of fashion history things, and so the last time I was this possessed by somebody was Diana Vreeland. And I did such a deep dive on her for years, read every book, saw every video, you know, all of that. Have you all seen the Eye Has to Travel, the movie that her granddaughter made? Yes. Incredible film. And so there are a lot of parallels between these two. And so when I first saw Iris and the documentary on her, I thought, oh, you know, she must have been friends with Diana Vreeland, or there's just so many similarities about the way they dressed or the way their apartments were decorated. And so then that made me do even more. Is it okay if I just dump this? Like, I'm way too warm. You got it, right? You got it. You got it. But I'm like, phew, all right. Let's go on and see who's next. Oh, here she is. Oh, we found the most amazing pictures on her. Isn't this hysterical with the necklaces on, right? So, I know what I wanted to say was that my sister says the funniest thing about you is that when she said sometimes your life lessons come through your work. I've noticed this because you know my sister's 4 years younger than me, so she knows everything that I've done since high school. You know, she knows my entire career, every job, everything. And so she said, it's really ironic how some of your life lessons come through your work sometimes. She goes, and this is one of those times because I'm like, I'm possessed by her. Like, Iris is like, she must have flown in my house or something where she's like, I don't know how I got so into it, but it's also that I'm coming near retirement age. And when she retired, her company, her life flipped and she had a whole nother 30-year career that she didn't see coming. And so for me as well, while I thought, okay, we're going to wrap things up here, we're going to go sit in the woods, we're going to be on the beach, we're going to do nothing, you know. And then I was like, wait a minute. I think I'm getting a lesson in something else may be coming as I think I'm wrapping up the things that I've always done. So yeah, let's get into her now. So Iris Apfel emerged on August 29th, 1921 in Queens, New York, and lived an incomparable life until March 1st, 2024. She was 102. She had a few different careers in the fashion and textile industries, using her artistic skills to create fabrics and a colorful personal style. She excelled with interior design and with accessories, an avid collector who had warehouses full of the treasures of her travels and apartments full of clothing. Her grandparents were Russian immigrants. Her grandparents were Jewish Russian immigrants, and they were very important to Iris. She was visibly moved. Oh, can we have a little more light? Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause yeah, 'cause I'm trying to read through these as well, which is really fun. So she was visibly moved when discussing how they immigrated to the US. She said they met in Eastern Europe when he was 16 and she was 15. They got married and had a baby. He had a way to get to America and went alone to set up their life. Then he sent for her and she traveled with the baby in steerage to a country she knew nothing about. I don't know how she did it. And she started to tear up. They lived communally in Queens. Her father, Samuel Barrell, had lived in the city of New York. This is her dad. There he is. Um, where are we? Her father had lived in the city of New York, but his doctor told him to move to the country because of his health, because the city was so filthy. So he took the boat over to Queens. There were no bridges or tunnels yet. His family ran a glass and mirror business, but Samuel majored in law and accounting but practiced neither. He had an import business and traveled to Europe a couple of times per year. He found porcelains, linens, dolls, and high-end toys, especially teddy bears. She said he had incredible taste. Her father had a talent with mirrors. Conrad Hilton had a project at the Plaza Hotel in New York City, and he had a floor where he wanted a number of apartments done with various people in mind. Elsie DeWolf was called in to decorate and was given an apartment. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that this was. Let me go back. On the left here is Iris and her mother and father, and the father is on the right. So this is Elsie DeWolf, and Elsie DeWolf was really the first interior decorator. They credit her with like inventing that career path. Um, and so Elsie DeWolf was called in to decorate and was given an apartment, but she already knew about Iris's father. So she called him and said, would you do my apartment? And I have ideas. Iris's dad did practically all of the mirror work on that floor, and Elsie wanted him to work for her personally. He said, I'm so busy during the weeks, but since you are who you are, I would be willing to do it on the weekends. He would come back home raving about her things, especially the French antiques. He asked Iris if she would like to go over with him, and she was thrilled. She was in her early teens, and her eyes almost popped out. Elsie never got out of bed, but held court with her small-scale poodle in her lap, Blue Blue, who was indigo-colored. She told Iris all sorts of stories, yet Iris was fascinated with her fur bed jacket. Visiting the lavish apartment full of style and antiques had a lasting effect on Iris, who decorated many houses throughout her life for clients, as well as for a couple for her and Carl. Her mother, Sid, her real name was Sadie Asofsky Barrel, was Russian born and owned a fashion boutique. Sid was studying law when she got pregnant with Iris, and after being home raising her for a few years, she resumed her practice. Her mother taught Iris to have a basic wardrobe of quality garments and then get accessories to change the look. She explained the importance of shoes, belts, earrings, necklaces, scarves, bracelets, rings, and glasses. Sid taught her, as Iris said, so many things. By the age of 11, she was scouring flea markets, picking up vintage bags, silk dresses, and costume jewelry that would evolve into her extraordinary collection. She became fascinated by a pin in a shop downtown and visited it for months. It cost $1, but she eventually got the man to let her have it for 65 cents, and then bargained with him for other things until he gave in. She says, I got it all for a song. I always loved a bargain. My parents decided to give me $25 for a new Easter outfit. I went to S. Klein for a dress that was beautiful and only $12.95. then to AS Beck on 14th Street for beautiful leather shoes that were $3.98. I got a hat and gloves and a bracelet, and I came home with money left over. This went over very well with my parents and was the beginning of my black belt shopping skills. She studied art history at NYU and was fascinated with Vogue magazine. She told a story about discovering the original Loehmann's department store in Brooklyn while she was lost one day in a rainstorm. I was looking for a business, and I got lost when I saw a beautiful window display of a gorgeous dress. Somehow I think oh, here's Iris. This is her in college. Do we have, yeah, there it is. I can't believe I found this picture. Cannot believe I found this picture. When we found this, I think I actually screamed out loud. I was like, that's it right there. Thank you. Get me that. I went inside because I heard of Loehmann's having discounts on designer clothing. Roaming the aisles, she didn't see any clothes that were great and asked another shopper about it. And the shopper said, you have to go up into the back room. This is where Iris found all of the clothing she had been wanting in Vogue magazine at prices she could afford. She started to frequent the place, and Mrs. Frieda Lohmann noticed her, and one day she called her over and said, I've been watching you, and you're not pretty, but you have something more important. You have style. Iris later modeled for Lohmann's in 2012, and then they sponsored one of her exhibitions. I did mention Diana Vreeland before, so I did want to tell you about Ms. Vreeland a little bit. Let's see, we had Diana on a different page, though, because that came later when I found out that they lived in the same neighborhood. Here we are. So Iris's apartment was at 440 Park Avenue. Diana Vreeland was at 550 Park Avenue. Iris, I know, said, I was one of the first women to wear denim, or I think I was the first woman that ever wore denim. This is a blatant lie. In Vogue magazine, which Iris was looking at, and it was in Harper's Bazaar, this photo shoot was by Louise Dahl Wolfe in 1942 when Iris was 21. It was styled by Diana Vreeland. And when one of the models did not show up, Diana Vreeland stepped in for the model. What was Diana Vreeland wearing? A turban, denim, and hoop earrings, right? Which had become Iris's, uniform then. Diana Vreeland also had a maximalist interior by the designer Billy Baldwin that was done in 1955. So Vreeland worked at the Czar and became editor of Vogue in 1960 as Kennedy got into office. Diana was friends with Jackie Kennedy and coordinated what she would wear to seem more American, as Jackie always wore French couture. Oleg Cassini was brought in to copy the French original, so she would be wearing an American label. At this time, Iris was working in the White House. Iris started under Eisenhower and was doing all the textiles in the White House through her company, which I'll explain later. So they were crossing paths this whole time. They were both in and out of the White House during the whole Kennedy thing. But there are no pictures. I can't find any pictures of them together. So their style was very, very similar, yet there's no evidence of them being in there. All right. So where are we? We're over here. So let's go back to when she was in college. So Iris left New York City and studied art at the University of Wisconsin. She was in the Phi Sigma Sigma sorority and was in the Writers of Harefoot show in December of 1942. That is the photo on the left, and she is the person on the right. She started wearing jeans with a crisp white shirt, a gingham turban, and large hoop earrings. Diana Vreeland had worn these things in Vogue magazine during a shoot at Frank Lloyd Wright House in the Southwest. She returned to New York City after Wisconsin and became the copy runner for writers at Women's Wear Daily, the newspaper of the fashion industry. For $15 per week, I was running pieces of paper up and down the stairs and from desk to desk. 4 months later, she left Women's Wear Daily to assist fashion illustrator Robert Goodman, who introduced her to his fabulous life and many influential people. He was a regular at the Stork Club and the director of Esquire magazine after illustrating menswear for them for years. She then started working for interior designer Eleanor Johnson, decorating apartments for resale, honing her talent for sourcing rare items. During World War II, the Grossingers, a Catskill resort hotel in Liberty, New York, hired her to report for them. She filled in for the editor twice, but the person never returned to the job, and Iris had the job until the end of World War II. A kosher establishment with a private airstrip, golf course, pools, and a theater. It was the inspiration for the film Dirty Dancing. It was a 585-room hotel. Then she went to Lake George on vacation in 1947 with a friend and met Carl Apfel. He told his friend that Iris would be attractive if she got her nose fixed. When the friend decided to tell this to Iris, Carl became less attractive. But back in New York City, Carl was on a bus heading uptown when it broke down. As he was sitting in the bus waiting for the other bus to come, Iris got off a bus across the street that was going downtown. He saw her across the street and liked what he was wearing so much that he called to tell her and asked her out on a date. And they were engaged by that October. They were married in early 1948 at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, and Iris created a pink theme for the wedding. She wore a pink lace strapless gown with a full skirt and a capelet. She was decorating homes for high-end clients and was known for excellent taste in textiles, wallpapers, and unique home furnishings. She lived with her parents until she was married, and then she lived upstairs from them for the first 2 years with Carl. Then an apartment on the Upper East Side, very close to Central Park. She said, what it had in charm, it lacked in plumbing. It was a divine house and a beautiful old relic. It was crazy, but we lived there for 27 years. We had 14-foot ceilings with Rococo plasterwork and boiserie in the hallways. Fortunately, we had wood-burning stoves to help with the breezes that blew through the holes in the Great Bay windows that made it feel like a drafty chateau. Then we sold the building, and I was looking for a loft on Parker Avenue, which of course I didn't find. But what I found was even better, a delightful apartment I have lived in ever since, and 2 places in Palm Beach. Not too many homes for being almost 100 years old. I would not have made it this far without the gifts from the wise men. She thinks she got the gifts from the wise men when she was born of a sense of humor, a sense of curiosity, and a sense of fantasy. She said, I don't have any rules, and if I did, I would break them. So she was known for excellent taste in textiles, wallpapers, and unique home furnishings. While decorating a home in Long Island, she was in search of a particular fabric she could not find. She met a girl whose father wove fabrics in a very traditional way in Long Island City, which is right across the East River from New York City. Iris brought her sketches to the man, and he loved her designs. They started working together, and it was beneficial to them both to the degree that he offered to go into business with her and Carl. In 1950, they began Old World Weavers. So this is the Lomans. Oh, this is Diana Vreeland. This is the shoot. This is the Frank Lloyd Wright house. That's Diana Vreeland on the ground and with the turban and the cigarette. Let's see, this is Iris boarding a train. There's so many pictures of her traveling. But you can see here the excesses have not happened. The shoes are not quite there, the luggage is not Vuitton yet, right? Like the furs have not happened. So you will see that later on as her style starts to change. But I really liked this picture of her. This is also like really glamorous makeover photos of her, which I thought were quite amazing. Right? I was like, oh my goodness, who knew she was beautiful? So here she is with Carl. So the one on the left is when they first met, and then on the right is later on in life. But there are so many adorable pictures of them. So you're going to see a whole lot of that because I just couldn't resist any of them. So where were we? Long Island City. Okay. So in 1950, they began Old World Weavers in order to replicate the magnificent historic fabrics found on their travels throughout Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. She and Carl traveled very much like her parents did. It became a runaway success, and they got work from the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the State Department, and the White House. They specialized in 17th, 18th, and 19th century fabrics and ended up working with many textile mills around the world to get specific yarns, dyes, and techniques. Of course, she also discovered that she could buy jewelry in all of these countries and clothing. So all of her flea market skills came in really handy as she was bargaining with people a mile a minute. This is her and Carl on the left in the White House. She's wearing an outfit that became very, very popular. She designed her own tiger print, and she even had boots made as well as clothing. And so she's in the outfit here with him in the White House. On the right is her redoing a house in her fur coat, lighting her cigarette off a fireplace while they're painting, which I also thought was a hysterical photo of her. They worked with the White House on historic reproductions through 9 presidencies, starting with Harry S. Truman, then Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and the last president they worked with was Bill Clinton. The only person who didn't want a historic reproduction, but something new, was Jacqueline Kennedy. She wanted it fresh and a little French. Their high-end clients included Marjorie Merriweather Post, Estee Lauder, Greta Garbo, Faye Dunaway, Montgomery Clift, Joan Rivers, and many more. Twice a year, they would ship a 40-foot container of all the things that they bought for their clients, and Iris was also collecting clothing and jewelry. Their showroom was in the Upper East Side of New York on 57th Street. There was always a little extra room in the container for some things for me, she said. She began to go to the couture shows and buying the samples afterwards. She did this at all of the major design houses in Europe, which up-leveled her personal clothing and jewelry collections. I needed something new to wear all the time. By the 70s and the 80s, we were doing black tie functions 4 nights per week. One of her favorite sayings was, if you're not interested, you're not interesting. Let me see if we have more of her. Yes. So this was the cover of one of their, they put out a magazine. So this is the cover of Old World Weavers. And then I have these 2 pictures of them. They were always traveling and always eating out. So there's this picture of them on the top. I love the beehive on her. And then a picture of them at home on the bottom. Who is next? Here they are traveling. Okay. So they sold their company to Stark in 1992, yet stayed on as consultants for 18 more years because they didn't know how to run it without her. It is now part of the Scalamandra collection and still features 3 classic designs by Iris, the tiger, which we just saw, the Austin stripe, and Rosetta. In 1998, her mother dies at age 100. I do believe we have the mother in here. These are her traveling as well. On the right is Iris and Carl on the SS Constitution. And on the left, you can see her train wardrobe has been upgraded here. And she's in a beautiful fitted suit and a fur. Let's see, where are we here now? Oh, I love this too. I love their both. I like that they like to dress alike. A lot of times they were wearing the same glasses, or here they're wearing a similar print. And their camaraderie, like if you've seen the documentary on them, I encourage you to watch all videos on her. She's so engaging and so much fun to watch her talk. And but also it's really adorable how they were like always together, like, and that their marriage lasted for so long. This I also love too. I almost wore a red picture hat today because I was like, I love her enormous hats. And this is in one of the mirrored apartments on the left. And on the right, I just love these glasses and picture hat on her. And here are more pictures of them out on the town. This is where she's starting to go gray. I love the one on the right too. I almost wore those earrings, but I couldn't get them in the parking lot. So sorry. I couldn't get them in quite right. So you're just getting hoops today. All right. So here's her, which I love. She's wearing a gown that has irises on it. And this is on a cruise. And this is her mother on the right. And because of her grandmother coming over with the baby, Even though Iris was always taking cruises, they could never get the grandmother to go anywhere with them. She said that the grandmother would come down to the dock to see them off, but would start to tremble and couldn't get anywhere near the boat. Like her PTSD was so bad from that trip. So that's why there's no pictures of her. This picture I just love. This is hysterical. So Harold Coda of the Met in New York City knew of Iris's style and penchant for accessories and had the idea of an exhibit that would feature a few outfits. She invited him over to her apartment. When he asked, "Well, what do you have?" It was overwhelming. She started to open all of her closets and reveal how many incredible pieces she owned. They ended up taking over 300 outfits, and it grew into a full-blown exhibition that opened in 2005 in September. It was the first show of clothing and accessories by a woman who was still alive and not a fashion designer by trade. Giorgio Armani and Karl Lagerfeld showed up at the opening, and the geriatric starlet was born. In 2007, Eric Bowman did a book called Rare Bird of Fashion, The Irreverent Iris Apfel. This picture just kills me. Here is Iris outside of a hut buying earrings, right? Like she was constantly shopping no matter where she was. Here she is in a couple of really fun dresses. And then on the right, this to me is like her exuberance is just full blown in this picture. I really like it. And she just had such a joie de vivre, which is also quite infectious for me. And here they are as older. This is more around the time of the Met thing. Where are we? So after the opening, the show was such a hit, the show traveled to the Norton Museum of Art in West Palm Beach, Florida, and then to the Nassau County Museum of Art in Roslyn Harbor, New York, then to the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, Massachusetts. The Museum of Lifestyle and Fashion History in Boynton Beach, Florida, has built a building dedicated to her clothing, accessories, and furniture. Her famous quote, "More and less is a bore," is part of that exhibition. Home Shopping Network renamed it Rara Avis by Iris Apfel after the Met title. In 2011, she began selling jewelry she designed on HSN. The first show she did was from a hospital bed because she had a broken hip. Not to be undeterred, she was like, just bring the cameras to the hospital and we'll do it anyway. And they did, which I just love that. Like, and it completely sold out. It was a raging success. Her collection was copies of her favorite pieces from her personal collection that she began at 11 with that pin, which she still cherished. She said she still has that pin in her jewelry box. In 2016, she introduced a clothing line as well, and it was sold out. She had 9 years of success, and her products are still available on their website today. I find jewelry the most transformative accessory. She said, my mother worshipped at the altar of the accessory and passed it on to me. In 2011, she began a job as a visiting professor in Austin at the University of Texas. She had visited the campus with Carl and planned a textile exhibit of her fabrics and would include lectures on the wearing process and her drawings for fabrics and wallpaper. The day that she and Carl were to fly to Austin, she was at the dentist that morning, and she got a phone call that he was brought to the hospital in cardiac arrest. He had to stay in the hospital, so she canceled the trip and invited the students and faculty to New York City to introduce them to the different aspects of the fashion industry, from product development, pattern making, sewing, textiles, and much more. It became a raging success. She never did the classes in Texas, and every year thereafter, they all came to New York City, and it went on almost until her death. In 2011, her apartment was featured in Architectural Digest, which I believe we have a little of her. Here we are. So on the left, I love this suit. I'm making this suit next. The suit on the left, I just think is so fantastic. This is her in the hallway of the apartment, and then she also started to model. So here she is on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. And then this photo on the right, I don't know if you know it. Yeah, okay, that's clear. You can see that. Is the ostrich. Do you all know about the ostrich bar? Okay, so this thing behind her is a bar. So you lift up the wing and all of the booze is in there. This recently sold at Sotheby's. They actually like, no, I can't believe that nobody in her. I would have grabbed that first. I would have been like, and no one's getting the bar. No one. But there it is. Um, okay, where are we? That was AD. Okay, so here is, all of her. She did her apartment. It looks very much like Vreeland's apartment, but this is all of the things that she collected over the years. And so these are the interiors of her living room. And she loved to collect things that were animal related. So a lot of her statuary, a lot of the prints, a lot of the art were around monkeys and dogs and cats and things like that. This photo in the middle, this portrait where it says AD of the person, is the first portrait she ever bought. So, oh yeah, and then Harold Coda also found out that some of the bedrooms no longer had furniture in them. They were simply just racks of clothing. So the closets were so packed that she also had rooms full of clothing as well as full of furniture. Complete excess. Okay, so here we go. I'm not sure if I think this is a trailer, but filmmaker Albert Maysles, who made Grey Gardens, Gimme Shelter, and Salesman with his brother, heard about the program that she was doing with the University of Texas and wanted to make a documentary about it. They had 4 meetings, but Iris didn't see the point of it. Her friend Linda from Bergdorf Goodman called her and urged her to pay attention to Albert as he was an important creator and filmmaker. Iris agreed to a meeting with him and his small crew, and she said, we started to talk about the project and we all fell in love with each other. I believe that this is. It's okay. Like, it's the trailer for the film, so. Am I? I think. Okay, thank you.
Actually, even the people inside the room won't get the sound. Paul, Paul, while Andy is setting that up, we have a request from the audience that you do a full-length twirl for them. So we need
Where's the camera? Oh, sorry. So I've never done this before.
There we go.
Okay. So another weird thing that happened was I didn't buy anything for this except the dress, as I told you, which I could not resist, and the glasses. I actually went to the store to buy paint for my kitchen, and when I walked in, there was a sunglass display, and I was so knocked out by these that I had to buy them, and I completely forgot while I was there until I got back home and walked in the kitchen without the paint, and I was like, oh shit. Like I was supposed to be getting paint, but I was just like, oh my God, I have Iris's glasses. Like I'm so happy. And then this is very similar to like textiles that she would use, but this is something that my friend brought me from the Philippines. She's Filipino, so whenever anyone travels and says, "Can I bring you anything?" I'm like, "Go find the local fabrics. I want to see. Just bring me whatever they make there." So that's what this was from, and everything else I had. But yeah, I just love it. Did I turn around? Did I even do that? La, 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 la. So yeah, please bury me in this dress if you ever find out of my demise. I'll be good.
And we have a question about why no eye makeup.
Who said I'm not wearing eye makeup?
No, Iris apparently made a comment that she didn't wear eye makeup.
Oh yeah, I really like that about her. She was into the lipstick, and also they kept saying as she was aging, why don't you get this done? Why don't you get that done? Because like that's what all the rich ladies in New York do. And she's like, no, no. She's like, there's absolutely no point in that. She's like, this is how I came out, and this is how I'm always going to be. I really like that about her too, because we all feel like that, especially if you're in fashion. You're like, am I aging out? Am I this? Am I that? And so she has like enabled me to absolutely not care. Like I can get as haggard as I want, and like how awesome. Yeah. We're gonna try. Okay. Are you gonna hit it or me? Okay. Okay, so this is the trailer for the film. Cross your fingers.
I didn't give a damn about going to the party or being at the party. It was getting dressed for the party. And there's truth and poetry in that.
The rare bird herself, over 75 years of influence in fashion, interior design. The icon, Iris Apfel.
That's so nice to hear. Makes a girl feel like there's still a chance. I don't have any rules because I would only be breaking them, so it's a waste of time.
Iris is an artist. What she uses all of her clothing and her accessories to do is compose a new vision.
She looks very voguey.
She has the most remarkable collection of couture costume jewelry in the United States.
I like to improvise as though I'm playing jazz. I was probably the first woman to wear jeans. Sounds crazy. It was.
I could feel the pulse of her excitement about living.
Mrs. Loman, the original, said, "You're not pretty, and you'll never be pretty, but it doesn't matter. You have something much better. You have style." I get more kick out of this. It costs $4 and change, and if my husband took me to Harry Winston.
It's not a dull marriage, I can tell you that.
Their fabric company had done a lot of work for administrations in the White House.
We started in Truman.
We're not supposed to talk about the White House. They get very upset.
But we had a problem with Jackie.
Stop. Everything I have, I go out and find.
How often do you need to fix?
Oh, I'd like to have it more often than I get it.
I've never heard you say, I don't like the way that person dresses.
I can't judge. It's better to be happy than well-dressed. In the words of my grandpa, a woman is as old as she looks, but a man is never old until he stops looking.
You know why I think you did this film?
Why?
Because he's very handsome, and I think you really had a crush on him.
Everybody does.
I know.
He's like a magnet. My God.
Fabulous. Hmm. Right? That's why I encourage you to go and look up. There's so many interviews with her and so many other things. And so we can, interact with her. Oh. Ah.
I'm an accessory.
I think I went forward too much. No, I guess that is the next one. Anyway, please hold. So Ari Seth Cohen featured her in his blog and book Advanced Style in 2012, which became a documentary. In 2014, the documentary was almost complete when Albert Maysles was asked to enter it into the 62nd New York Film Festival, and Iris had not seen the film. It had taken a couple of years to coordinate filming for just a few weeks. Iris and Albert both had major hospitalizations that stalled the process. They agreed to enter it, and on opening night at Lincoln Center in New York City, Iris saw it for the first time and was pleasantly surprised. The interview where the two of them did right after the screening is on YouTube, so you can see her actual reaction to seeing the film that he created. And she said, "I'm the world's oldest living teenager." Where she just did that quote where she said about, a woman is as old as she looks and a man is not old until he stops looking. That was on his 100th birthday. And in 2015, only a year after all of this explosion of things, Carl turned 100 and passed away. They were married for 68 years. When asked, oh my God, I do speak English. When asked how they lasted so long, she said, "You have to have a sense of humor, you have to have curiosity and give each other space." And then she moved to Palm Beach in 2016. She gave up the New York apartment. So I believe the next one may be our HSN Clipperoonie. Right? Is that what why is the screen black? I have no idea. Whoop.
I'm an accessory freak. I believe of all accessories, jewelry is the most transformative. They transform the outfit. I've been collecting jewelry since I'm about 11 years old. I must own maybe thousands of pieces. I love jewelry. I use it as inspiration. I always say in the proper tonality, I never met a color I didn't like. I adore turquoise, bright reds. I love them together. I think they're great fun. When I was growing up, you were told, before you leave the house, look in the mirror and take something off. And I always said, look in the mirror and add something on.
So those were her HSN jewelry. She also became a designer of eyeglasses. So where were we? We were in 2016, Iris collaborated with Happy Socks on some designs. She created a line of smart jewelry with Wisewear and starred in a French car commercial for Citroën. In 2017, the geriatric starlet was featured in a documentary about people thriving in their 90s called If You're Not in the Obits, Eat Breakfast by Danny Gold and hosted by Carl Reiner. Have you all seen this film? Oh my God, do not miss this film. It is so good. She's a small part in it, but the whole thing is it's all about people in their 90s who are just doing these extraordinary things. It came about because Carl Reiner, part of his morning ritual in his house is to get the paper and sit down and look through the obits while he's having coffee. Yes, did you say something? If you're not in the obits, eat breakfast. So he opened, no, for real, it's the name of the film. I didn't name it. So, Carl Reiner, oh, he opens the newspaper and what was her name? Audrey Meadows, the actress, had passed away. And the photo that they ran of her was her winning an Emmy in the 50s. And she's standing next to Carl. So he literally opens the newspaper and sees his own face and then has to call his friend and say, like, am I dead? Like, what's going, he like took him a few minutes to realize, like, okay, I'm still here. This is not me. This is about her. I have no idea why they chose this picture of her with me in it, you know? So in the doc, Iris says, people ask me about my endurance. They wonder how I can do all of this. And to tell you the truth, I haven't got a clue. I push myself to do it because that's how I am. Vitality comes from your spirit and your soul. Tony Bennett, Mel Brooks, Dick Van Dyke, and many others are featured in this very inspirational film. So here, these photos of Iris are some of her glasses that she designed, as well as some of the jewelry that was from HSN. Here she is with Carl in denim and 5,000 pounds of jewelry. I mean, I could not barely get, when we were trying this outfit on, like I could only have it on for like 10 minutes. This isn't even that much. I don't know how this woman at 100 walked around with 7,000 bracelets on and all of this stuff and did not keel over. No idea. But I really like the photo on the right as well because it shows her style, even though there's very little color in here, only turquoise. The entire outfit is black, white, and gray, but still just as awesome. Does anyone know who Joy Bianchi is? San Francisco socialite. Well, that one landed flat. I was like, they're going to know who she is. Anyway, I know who Joy Bianchi is, and Joy Bianchi had some houses in San Francisco that were full of antiques and couture and this and that. And one of my friends was one of the people that was curating that stuff when they were putting it out to the public. And, you know, hi, Kati, if you're watching, thank you very much. She decided that I had to come in as a consultant. And yeah, to see all of that stuff was quite amazing. Like just the collections. And I had no, but I love the look on Iris's face. I'm not sure what they're saying to each other. But when I was doing this with my friend Hazel, hi Hazel, if you're watching, good morning. Thank you for everything. Hazel Ishmael, like totally, this wouldn't have happened without her. She really, really, really helped. And she's like, Paul, why do you want this picture? It just doesn't make sense. And I'm like, it makes sense if you're from San Francisco, and it makes sense if you know who Joy Bianchi is. So that's what that is. This is the collab with Happy Socks. So this is some of her things that she designed for them. I love these pictures as well. In 2018, Iris became the oldest living person to become a Barbie doll. Her book, Accidental Icon, was published by HarperCollins, and she had jobs with MAC Cosmetics, Kate Spade, and eBay. I think we have, yes, here she is with the Barbie. So they made the Barbie in her image, and it was only as a one-off that she could have. But the publicity was so big, they ended up actually manufacturing the dolls based on a couple of her outfits as well. This was the Accidental Icon book. On the left, this is her at 100. This is her 100th birthday outfit. So in 2019, she signed on as a model with IMG at the age of 97. She launched a collaboration with H&M of her clothing designs in her fabrics. It also included jewelry, shoes, and more. It was 38 pieces and sold out for 2 years straight. Yeah, not easy. In the proper tonality, I never met a color I didn't like, she says. In 2021 was when she designed a line of eyewear for Zenny. And in 2022, she lands a beauty campaign with Ciate London, which I believe we have. Yeah, this is the Kate Spade ad campaign with the Kate Spade bags. So this is one of her modeling gigs. And this is the H&M collection on the left, which I really want those shoes. I can't even, I would just want everything on here. But the picture on the right of them fussing with her hair and makeup is one of my favorite pictures of her. So she designed this fabric, and I don't know if you can tell, you might be able to tell, that the pea pods on the suit have pearls inside them for the peas. Yes, for H&M, okay? Pearl embroidery. Who else got away with that? No one except her. This, I believe, is the more of the eyewear. Yes. And then this is her cosmetics campaign. Do you see the cosmetic bag? They even have her image on the compact, which I would really like to get my hands on some of that. If any of you see that, please send it my way. And then is this? Oh, then she came out with her book, Colorful. She had a Dr. Scholl collab that emerged in the summer of 2024. She had done it at the beginning of the year, but then she passed away. In the spring of 24 was when she passed away at her home in Palm Beach at 102. And she is buried in a Jewish cemetery in Elmont, New York. And Christie's is auctioning off all of her belongings. Here are the Dr. Scholl collab. And I totally adore that this one on the left with her glasses there in her hands, that shoe is called Mr. Carl. So it's a house slipper in his honor. Then this is her collaboration with Ruggable. So she had the concept that her designs could be made into rugs that you could put into the washer and dryer so that you didn't have to send them to a specialist to clean the rugs. So this was her designs and drawings for them. And there she is. I believe that this is video as well. Yes.
I am Iris Apfel. I am 94 years old. I was probably the first woman to wear jeans. I don't have any rules. They're just a waste of time. I never follow trends. No trends, no rules. Someone once told me, "You're not pretty, and you'll never be. But it doesn't matter. You have something much better. You have style."
So in there, we also saw clips from that Citron commercial, which is just hysterical. You can tell she's not driving and that they're spinning the car through some sort of set. She's like looking around, like you can tell she's never driven a car. Just hysterical. I was like, this woman can adapt to any situation, which is also a really fantastic life lesson. And this may be...
I am Iris Apfel.
I believe that's the end. Yes. So thank you for listening. I hope you got as much out of this, and I encourage you to look her up and see all of the videos that there are of her and all the interviews. She's so genius person. And yeah, the rest of my life is going to be different because I did this. So thank you all. Yes, I did. So the question was, Paul, you had a photo of her with Mr. Rogers. Okay, we'll go back. Mr. Rogers. Well, they didn't have a collab, but he did shoot his show in New York. Oh, no. That's the Kate Spade ad. I'm sorry, that's a male model. But you're right, it does look like Mr. Rogers. No. He had passed by then. No, this is part of the Kate Spade ad campaign. So the bag on the floor, the bag on the bench is Kate Spade, as well as the clothing they're wearing. Yeah, that's not from her HSN or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, I have some thank yous from our remote audience
Oh,
that I would like
beautiful.
you to hear.
Okay.
First, from Lisa Milliman. This presentation is so interesting and well done. I appreciate the amount of work that went into putting it together. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I got about 5 cents an hour. I did such a deep dive that I was like, clearly I'm just doing this for the fun of it.
Right.
But really, like, the beneficial is internal, right? For me. Like, I get so much out of it that I will never forget.
Okay, and from Kay Knox, we have a wonderful presentation of a fabulous woman of design. And from Loretta Gilmartin, thank you for this amazing presentation.
Thank you. Did anybody else have questions? Yeah, Michelle. No, I can repeat the question. It's okay. Oh, they're going to bring her a mic. Okay.
You said that you saw something for yourself in studying her,
Yes.
that you're close to retirement, and now
Yeah.
you can see maybe there's another path forward. Do you know what that looks like? Could you share
I
with
don't
us?
have to.
You don't have, no.
I don't.
You
No,
don't.
the thing that was really cool about when you see the interviews of her, they're like, how did you get that gig? How did that project happen? How did you have that collaboration? And really, she was just open to it. She said, I don't know. I actually don't know. Things come my way. And people have asked me that about stuff I do in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Like, where do these gigs come from? How do people know you? And I'm like, I don't know.
They just show up.
I was at the Asian Art Museum last night doing portraits, right? I'm a fashion illustrator, so I'm sketching people. And yesterday I was building a dress in a class from 10 to 3, and then I did the gig from 6 to like 10. And then I had to get my ass home so I could wake up to come here, you know? And so it's like, sometimes people are like, where are these things coming from? And I'm like, I don't know. The universe likes me. I partner with creativity. I know I'm a creative channel. So like, you know, it's not that I'm looking for it, but it's always come my way. And so what I'm getting from her is that you know, okay, so the reality is, you know, I'm a gay man in the fashion industry. Is there anything more tired than that? You know, no, really, in my industry, they're like, oh, an old fag who draws, hooray. Like, well, never heard of that before, you know? So I always thought that I would stop working somewhere in my 50s because, you know, people that are coming up under you are going to get those gigs, right? And so it's kind of amazing that that just didn't happen, you know, and I'm still working a mile a minute. Like, I can't tell you right now how much my feet or my neck hurt. I can't even explain. I couldn't get my earrings on outside. I had to like get me dressed because I'm like, I can't touch anything because like everything hurts so much, you know. But at the same time, I can't stop going and doing it because it's so much fun, you know. And for like at least the last 5 years, every job I get, I always think, well, that's the last thing you're ever going to do. Just go do it, you know, and then we don't have to do anything ever again, you know. And so that hasn't happened. And so now that I've done this, I was like, oh my God, you think you're about to retire and go live on the beach somewhere. And I guess what? You're probably about to get the surprise of your life. And that's why they made you do this on her, because something's going to flip for you. You're going to do something else for 30 more years. Because I was like, oh my God, my grandma was 99. I have her eyeballs. You know what I mean? My other grandmother was 94. I was like, holy crap, I could be here for a really long time, you know? And so that's when I started to think, well, Thank you, Iris. Now I know something's coming. I don't have to know what it is. It's okay.
I think that's awesome. And my hero was Grandma Moses. It's now Iris Apfel.
Yeah, Iris is my spiritual auntie now. I feel related to her in some way. Does anybody else have a question or anything? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Oh, okay.
People at home. I don't think you're going to have an answer because I've never seen it anywhere and I've been looking. She had a huge gap in her teeth that either she never smiled again or she had it work done. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I,
No.
I brought black paint and forgot to put it on after the lipstick, but
So do you mean that like later in life, the gap disappeared? Because do you know what clackers are? No. I'm sorry. Like in drag, clackers are fake teeth, and it's a little thing that you slip on over your teeth. Like if you're going to be on camera to make them whiter or smoother or something like that. She may have been wearing clackers, instead of having an operation or something, but she never did mention that in anything that I found.
So one of our members, Lilani, wanted to talk a little bit. Gotta come over to the camera.
You are serving Iris realness. Yes.
She's one of my idols.
Come on in. Come in the camera here.
Those of you who have been members for many, many years, you know Kenneth D. King. He used to be a designer in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and we were lucky enough to have him do presentations for PenWag several times. Well, he moved from San Francisco to New York. He's now a professor at FIT. And he was back here. He'd been there about 3 years. And I asked him, I said, did you by any chance ever meet Iris Apfel? And he says, oh my God, I can't believe you asked me that. He was invited to one of the designers' runway shows. And guess who he was sitting next to? Iris Apfel. He said it was one of the joys of his life. He felt so great. I had to share that with the old members.
Thank you. Yeah, Kenneth King is an amazing seamster. He can sew and do anything. He works a lot. He works at FIT, yes, but also he's been a long time person in Threads magazine, right? He does a lot of things like that. Yes, yeah. So he also put out a book which we used in our pattern classes for a while. Do you know Linda Maynard as well? Linda Maynard was like a muse of his, and so her and I taught for years together. And a lot of the things, the moulage that she learned from Kenneth, she's still practicing. She lives here in San Jose and she's still working. But yeah, like a lot of the gigs that I had from Craftsy to other things, I have online classes, they came through Linda. Linda has really has been wonderful to me. Hi, Linda, if you're out there, Miss Girl. I think she probably is today. Anybody else? A question, comment, anything? No? All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, let's take photos. Totally. Yes. Get in front so they can see your outfit.
I do.
There you go.
You think I've been doing this for 2 years or something?
This is really beautiful. Turn around. Let them see this. Yeah, that's
It was a
fantastic.
Macy's thing. Some designer.
Never divulge.
Okay.
I'm just teasing. I'm kidding. Go ahead. That's right.
Yeah, I don't find that the don't explain works very well with a 40-year marriage. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you all for coming. It's been a fabulous day. If you're here in person, there's snacks on the snack table, and I believe most of you have found the coffee and tea out in front. So we'll see you all on Zoom in January. Goodbye.